Voted Lansing's best repair shop, Professional Fleet Services can meet all your repair needs quickly and courteously. Services include brake repair, steering and suspension, air conditioning, electrical, and maintenance services. Schedule an appointment today with the shop that has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Call Professional Fleet Services Monday through Friday at 517-316-7999.
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm the owner of Professional Fleet Services. And today we're going to show you guys how to do what's called a voltage drop test. You use this test to check for a bad battery, bad battery cables, bad battery ends, or bad battery cables, say, to a starter. So this will help you check a no crank, no start. So if you got a vehicle that doesn't start but doesn't crank at all, it's usually going to be a battery, a starter, or battery cables, cable ends, or something in the starting system going to the starter and battery. So we're going to show you how to check that and how to figure out what it is that's causing the actual problem so that we don't replace the wrong parts. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the positive and negative cables on your tester and just do positive to positive, negative to negative, and you're going to be on the very top center post of the battery. Okay, so you're reading right now on the top post. On the side post, you would have to disconnect the cables and check it at the inner portions of the battery where your bolts would thread in for your cable ends. So right now we are reading 12.12 or 12.24 volts across the top of the battery terminals. So now what you're going to do is you're going to move the red, doesn't matter which one, we'll start with the red one, the red positive cable end out to the back. So you're not going to top the battery, you're going to go out to the cable end. So we moved out one step and we're reading exactly the same. So what that tells us is there is no corrosion, there's no loss of power, we're not losing any voltage between the post and the cable end. Now we move it back to the post and we do the same thing for the negative cable. You're going to now keep it touched in the center and then move to the cable end for the battery cable, and same thing, we're at 1224. So again, we've lost no voltage between the cable end and the top post. And what you'll find is if you have a corroded battery or bad cable end, a lot of times you have a huge voltage change. Sometimes a couple volts or more. And that right there will cause the vehicle not to start or do all kinds of other funky stuff. So now next thing to do is we can move back to the center of the post and we're back to 224. And if you want to, the next step is you can take both cable tester ends and move both of them out to the cable ends. And again, there we are the same. So at this point, we've now 100% verified there's no break between either of the cable ends or the top post. So we now verified with pretty good certainty that the battery is good. The only other thing you could do to make this test a little more positive would be if you had a second person, you could have somebody try to crank the engine over, hold the key on, like you're starting the car, while you're doing this test, which is going to put an excessive draw on the circuit, like the starter's trying to start it, and it's going to load that circuit and draw a ton of power. So if you do have a break that's like an intermittent problem or something that's not easy to find, loading the circuit with the car trying to start and doing your same test, that can help you find problems that may not show up in like a static type test, we call it. So as of right now, the cables check good, the battery checks good. The next step, since you're hooking your cables normally go through here, you could even go out to the cables themselves because these are aftermarket style cable ends. You could have a bad connection here where the cables go into the cable end. So the next step, you just continue out again, keep the one in the negative, and then go out to your cable end right here if the cable is coming out. And the same thing on the other side. So that's kind of how you do it's called a voltage drop test. And if everything passes here, the next step would be to check the starter. And there's going to be a single wire going down to the starter that will come from the key switch. It's always going to be the small wire, the smallest wire. And that is the wire that receives power from the ignition when you crank it. And your fat cable on the starter is always your battery positive wire. So once you verify this is all good, you now move on to testing your starter to confirm the starter is either good or bad. And with that, That's how you do a battery, a voltage drop test.